Why does God allow bad things to happen? This is a question I'm sure that you've asked yourself, so let's dive into it. Why does God say that He's good and still allow bad things to happen? Around 60,000 people die of malaria every year. Millions of people, both young and old, die from malnutrition every year. Globally, about 1.9 million people die in car accidents. Approximately 720,000 to 740,000 people die by suicide worldwide every year. These aren't just numbers. These are people. These are families. These are stories that were cut short. Every day, people are going to their graves early because of what is happening in our world. And when we look at all of the pain, sorrow, hardship, and sin, it can feel overwhelming. If we're honest, what we might take from this is that there's no one in control, that God must be far, far away, or that our world is nothing but chaos. And if you've ever felt this way, you're not alone. Many people battle this question every single day. So let's try to figure it out. I want to present 4 questions. If God is good, then why do bad things happen? If God cares, why doesn't He stop them? Why do evil, death, and pain happen? And last of all, what hope does Christianity offer that the world cannot? Question number 1. If God is good, why do bad things happen? You wake up in the morning and you hit your alarm. You have places to be. It might be school or work. As you wake up, you might hit your alarm a couple of times and say to yourself, oh well, I better get up. If you're like me, you grab your stuff, shower, make yourself look presentable, and eat. Brush your teeth, and get all your stuff ready to go. Then you go off to wherever you need to be. You get in a car or on a bus, whatever you travel with, and you might pop in some earbuds. As you sit or drive, you pass by many cars. It's nearly impossible these days not to pass by a car. You might be stuck in traffic, or you might not, but you will pass many cars. You might even see a few on the side of the road, and you might think to yourself, I wonder if they need help. Yet you keep driving. Then you get to a light and see a homeless person on the side of the road with a cardboard sign. You might give them $1, or you might not, and you might think to yourself, they should go get a job. Then you might stop somewhere to get coffee, but they get your name wrong. You get mad, but you don't have the courage to say anything. You hit traffic and start to run late. To make it worse, someone behind you is honking, and the person in front of you is texting. Traffic starts to move, and of course, you're moving with traffic. But someone doesn't see you, gets over, and nearly causes a crash. You slam on your brakes and honk, getting mad, spilling your coffee on your lap. You're already 10 minutes late to the place that you're going, and the person in charge is not happy. I could go on. And none of these things are big. None of them cause major damage. Ordinary moments in an ordinary day. But this is where we start to see something important. Most of the pain, hardship, and brokenness we experience isn't random. It's the result of human choices. Small ones, careless ones, rushed ones, and sometimes selfish ones. Someone chose to text instead of pay attention. Someone chose to be impatient instead of kindness. Someone chose to ignore the person in need. And before you know it, frustration turns into anger. Anger turns into violence, and violence turns into real pain. When we ask if God is good, why do bad things happen, we often picture catastrophic tragedies. But so much of our brokenness in this world starts with the little things we do every single day, through the choices we make and the choices that are made around us. God created a good world, but when God made this world, He gave a gift to humanity. What was that gift? It was free will. What is free will? It's the ability to choose what you want to do and when you want to do it. And with free will comes a price. And that price is we either respond with love or we respond with hurt. Bad things don't happen because God is careless or cruel. They happen because we live in a broken world filled with broken people. You and I are part of that world. But the good news is, God did not leave us to the mess we create. Instead, He steps into it. Isaiah 41:10 puts it this way. So do not fear, for I am with you. Do not be dismayed, for I am your God. I will strengthen you and help you. I will uphold you with my righteous right hand. This verse offers us clarity, and it points out that the God who created the universe calls us not to be afraid. In fact, what He calls us to do is to trust that He will come and be our strength. He tells us that when we are weak, He will come and hold us up. Question number 2. Why does evil, death, and pain exist in the first place? If you have been tuning in every day, then you know that we've been talking a lot about Genesis. But today, we're going to look at a different part of the Bible. Let's look at Ecclesiastes 1:13-14, which says, I applied my mind to study and explore by wisdom all that is done under the heavens. What a heavy burden God has laid on mankind. I have seen all the things that are done under the sun. All of them are meaningless, a chasing after the wind. Paul writes this. He wants us to look at the world through the lens of wisdom. He feels that God has placed a heaviness on his heart for what has been happening to mankind. And what he ends with is saying that everything that he has seen humans do is chasing what they want, instead of living like they were created to. So we see that humanity has a problem, and that is that we're selfish. Look at what happened in Genesis 11, 1 through 9, the Tower of Babel. It shows that humanity wanted to be like God. So they said, "Come, let us make a name for ourselves." So they set out to build a huge tower that would reach the heavens. This already shows that humanity wanted glory for themselves, which is because of sin. See, if the Tower of Babel was built high into the heavens, and God did not come down and confuse the language, we can speculate what would have happened. They would have had the huge tower, and of course, they would all want the throne. And because they would all want the throne, everyone would think that they rightfully deserved it. So they would not go about it in a peaceful manner. Trying to get the throne, there would be bloodshed, gossip, pain, and lives taken. We see that as humans, it is in our DNA to want to be powerful and to be on top. Yet as humans, we were never meant to have the glory. Instead, we were created to reflect the glory back to the one who created us. So the reason we have evil, death, and pain in this world is because two people in the very beginning chose to disobey, and this brought sin into the world. Now every person has a desire to make a name for themselves, and they won't just stop because a couple lives are taken. So the reason we have evil, pain, and death in this world is because of our selfish nature, and the want to make a name for ourselves, even if it causes someone else harm. If we look at Satan, the reason he got kicked out of heaven was because he wanted to be God, rather than serve God. Isaiah 14, 12 through 15, Ezekiel 28, 12 through 17, Revelations 12, 7 through 9, all can give us a picture of his fall. So the one who encompasses all that is evil and who rules hell is the one who shows the definition of selfishness to its full extent. Number 3, if God cares, why doesn't he always stop suffering? Why do we break our bones and have to go through surgery or pain? Why do some of us get paralyzed if we fall in a certain way? Why do people get cancer or be bitten by a shark or get into an accident and have to lose limbs because of it? Why are some so rich that they could bathe in their riches, while others have nothing to bathe in at all? Think of it like this. Say a child was having fun on his bike. He was having a ton of fun, and then suddenly he lost control of his bike. He fell off in just the right way, causing his arm to break. He has to have surgery, and he's out for the baseball season. During this season, he's devastated, but during this time, he learns the value of encouraging his team, even though he can't be on the field, and he's forced to sit in the dugout while watching someone replace him. Through this, he learns the lesson not to take the game he loves so dearly for granted. Was it fair for him to break his arm? No. Did God purposefully make him fall off his bike? No. But because we live in a broken world, things happen in life that cause us to break. But through this moment, God teaches this young boy to learn an important lesson. We have a God who takes what happens in this broken world and allows us to learn through it. It's still hard, but it's not wasted. Recently, I lost one of my closest friends. She was like a big sister, a mentor, a constant encourager. She passed away in a car crash, completely out of the blue. When I heard the news, it shattered my world. How could a girl like her be taken so soon? It's not fair. And yes, it's not fair. I would never wish the pain of losing a family member or a friend on anyone. It's one of the hardest things that we can go through. But one thing that the Lord has been teaching me through this is that we never know if we're going to wake up tomorrow. We need to cherish every moment that we have with our family and friends. So don't take those relationships for granted. 2 Corinthians 12:9 says this, "My grace is sufficient for you. My power is made perfect in weakness." This verse shows that God has the power to piece everything back together. When we are weak or down, we sometimes are able to learn valuable lessons through those challenging times. I'm not saying that these times are all sunflowers and rainbows, but we have a God who works all things together for those who love him, follow him, and put their trust in him. Number 4, what hope does Christianity offer that this world cannot? Well, the world promises that we'll have happiness if we have lots of money, buy the things that are in fashion, be in the relationships with whoever we want, and do whatever we want in those relationships. Or if I'm famous, then I'll find fulfillment. It's always moving to the next thing that is in style, or the next person, or trying to get over that past relationship that hurt us. But what all of these things have in common is that they're temporary. You will run out of money. Relationships only last so long. You will soon be passed up by the next up-and-coming star. Food and drink only make you feel numb for a time. The only thing that truly satisfies is Jesus. Why? Because he is the perfect representation of all that is good and worth following. No matter what, you cannot make yourself live longer than your expiration date. One day you will die. There's no getting around it. And when you die, there will be no sweet talking your way into heaven. The only way you can enter heaven is by confessing that Jesus is Lord, repenting that you've sinned and fallen short of the glory of God, and realizing that Jesus is the perfect sacrifice who bridges the gap between you and God. There's no other way. Not Allah, not Buddha, not a president, not herbs, not meditation, not love, only the truth. and that truth is Jesus. So why do bad things happen? And why does God not stop them? It's because he gave us the gift of being able to choose how we live this life. He does not micromanage us. Instead, he allows us to find refuge in him when our actions cause harm, pain, and brokenness. We can have the full assurance that God works everything out in the end. God never said that the journey would be easy, but he did say that the arrival would be worthwhile. Max Lucado.